Oh no. Yes, today we have a new track from 6 Feet Under, the one and only. It's called No Nothing Ingrate from Killing for Revenge, coming to us I think in May, they said, but let's see what we got here. Full disclosure, if you don't know already, I hated the last album. I will say the production already sounds way better on this track. Chris not sounding too awful, though. Again, I credit it to like the fuller guitar sound. I think part of what I hated about the last album was that it was such a like sparse sounding record that it just really highlighted just how bad Chris's vocals sound these days. In other words, it's like distracting from them still being bad. Yeah, solid groove on the guitar though. Yeah, honestly, this is not terrible, which is almost disappointing. It's like the thing is, like, things that are really great are fun to talk about and things that are really terrible are fun to talk about, but when it like falls in the middle range, like it's kind of like just less interesting. So I mean, that could be an issue here too. So just very kind of standard death metal at this point. I'll admit though, the guitars get me bobbing my head. The drumming's pretty good too. Cymbals sound a little bit not too great in the mix, but that could be YouTube. A little guitar solo here. Pretty standard solo, more kind of rock and roll influenced one. I'll say too, the cover art isn't half bad. It very much looks like a Cannibal Corpse album cover. And back into it. Little pinch harmonic is fun on the guitar too. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, there you go. That was No Nothing Ingrate, and honestly, it was not terrible. It was not terrible. Again, I think that the guitar work kind of helps mask how again, poor Chris's vocals have gotten over the years, to the point where it kind of works with this more kind of pummeling, straightforward style. I think anytime they slow things down, again, for tracks like Zodiac, which is every time I even think of that song, I start laughing. When they slow things down and it's a little bit quieter and Chris is more at the forefront, that's just not good. So this works better for that. I'll give it credit where it's due. If I'm going into my 3 scales, which I feel like I haven't in a little while. So first one, enjoyability. Not terrible. Not great. Not amazing. Out of 10, probably give this like give a solid 7. 7 feels about right. I wouldn't tip over into 8. It's not something I'm like, sweet, I want to re-listen to this right now. But I didn't hate it either. And it was fun enough that it got me moving and bobbing my head a little bit. So yeah. It's especially the guitar work and the drumming make this a fun track. In terms of musicianship, speaking of which, again, I'd say it's kind of like a 7 because it's pretty average. There's nothing particularly like exciting or memorable happening here. It's not particularly technical. I'm sure I could, even though I like barely play guitar anymore, I'm sure I could pick up my guitar off the back wall and probably learn to play the song in 5 minutes. Like, there's not much diversity to it. And yeah, it's just your pretty boilerplate death metal at this point. And then again, you've got Chris on here vocal wise, which is just nothing to write home about. Let's just leave it at that. And then in terms of innovation, I mean, that bleeds into that as well. Like there's nothing new or exciting or interesting about this. Not that every death metal thing needs to be. Like, there's plenty of just like very standard death metal albums that I enjoy. So, but I like to keep this scale because I think it keeps things in check and keeps us from just being like, oh, I have so much fun with this song or album that it's a 10 out of 10. It's like, no, a 10 out of 10 for me is like something new and cool and exciting and pushing boundaries in some way generally. So on that front, it's just a 7 because I use kind of the US grading school scale where a 7 is like a C. 7's like average. So yeah, 7, 7, 7. for 6 feet under. How about that? Average it all out to just a nice 7 out of 10. It's fine. It's perfectly acceptable. Again, I kind of almost wish it was like really amazing and knocked my socks off, or was really awful and was fun to laugh about. And I don't think it's really either of those things. So we'll see how the album turns out. Maybe I'll do a real 6 feet under album ranking. I probably will when this comes out, because I think that'll be big. As much as that's going to be torturous for my ears, and I still have a bunch of albums I haven't even gotten through with them, but thanks to some of the other lists I've been doing, I've worked my way through quite a few of them, and they were one of the first death metal bands that I ever heard, actually, funnily enough. Yeah, 6 feet under. Let me know. What do you think of Know Nothing Ingrate? Let me know down in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Disliked it if you disliked it. I really don't care either way. And yeah, you can enjoy my current 6 feet under tier list, or this for something a little bit different. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.